Welcome, everyone, to the Best of Markham podcast brought to you by me, Igor Klibanov from Fitness Solutions Plus.ca, your personal trainers for chronic conditions. Here with me today is Amanda from Mandi Mugginz. Amanda, please tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Igor, for having me here. My name's Amanda. I'm from Markham. I have four children. I actually grew up in Scarborough, like borderline Scarborough, Markham,
Mhm.
and moved to Markham when I was in grade 11.
Mhm.
And I went to York University where I studied psychology. And then I went to Australia to study teachers college.
Cool.
And then I actually taught in Mexico. I taught high school English and drama for about 7 years. And then made my way to move back to Markham in 2016 when my second son was born.
Wow. Okay. Nice long trip.
Yes,
And then eventually back to Markham. And then you're making now baby accessories.
yes.
How'd you
Um,
get
sorry.
how'd you get into making baby accessories?
So when I was pregnant with my first son, so this was 10 years ago, I was living in Mexico at the time and I started making beaded jewelry. And I used to go rock climbing and I would really got into stones and like crystal beads. So I was making necklaces mainly and just fashion jewelry. And when my son was born, he would pull on it, start breaking it, chewing on it. And I was like, okay, this is a choking hazard and definitely not safe. So I actually started making jewelry necklaces that I could wear with silicone beads that was safe for my son to chew on.
Yeah.
And pretty much from there, I saw all the benefits, even with breastfeeding, how he would hang on and for security and comfort and focus, and then the whole sensory development. And then, of course, the whole teething stage came in. So from one product turned into, okay, now I'm going to make pacifier clips and then teethers and then grew a whole baby line. So
Oh.
yeah, I never went back into teaching after that.
Yeah, very clever. And then how did you go from just making it for your own sake, because you were your own target market, to making your first sale?
Pretty much I started with markets, just like pop-up markets, anything from like a church market to now big shows like the Toronto Baby Show.
Yeah.
So it was just like little steps of kind of getting brave to like, okay, let's start off with something that's for free and see if there's a need out there. And just kind of little by little trying out, just making new connections and then broadening my audience and just kind of going out to different locations outside of Markham and just popping up in retail stores, getting into retail, and then just kind of spreading the word through social media and online.
Great. Yeah, baby steps. One thing leads to the next, to the next, to the next, until you're doing, online, you're doing other stuff. That's amazing. What's your favorite part about entrepreneurship?
I think the whole, well, it started as a creative outlet. I guess my whole life I've always loved making things. I was very crafty. Even from a little girl, I used to make friendship bracelets out of string and sell them on my driveway to like the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So and then when you become a mom, what people don't actually prepare you for is how bored it can get, how bored you can get. So it was just kind of a creative outlet for me to have my space. It was actually therapeutic to just
Yeah.
create. And when I really started enjoying the whole creative process, then you're like, okay, I could sell this. And
Yeah.
then when you see that people actually like your stuff and they want to buy it from you, and then it it boosts your confidence and then makes you want to just, okay, I can do more things. I can grow my line. I can create more products that moms need.
Yeah. Did you ever have any doubts like, okay, I'm creating this as a creative outlet for myself, but will it actually sell? Will people pay money for this? Did you ever have that doubt, or did you just go right into it and see what happens?
Oh yeah, sometimes it's like a lot of things are trial and error. Sometimes colors that I may necessarily love or products that I think, oh yeah, everyone needs it. Somewhat like, for example, even jewelry. Sometimes what I find could be tacky, someone else could love it. It's all personal preference. So it's kind of trial and error and see what's trending. What like the thing about my products, it's all personal taste too, even
Yeah.
preferences if we're talking about jewelry. So sometimes it's just different areas, different people like different things, different seasons. So it's really just a process of trying things out. And the best thing about like my beads, I can take it apart and make other things if it's not selling, or just play around with colors and products like that.
Yeah, that's one of the most interesting things about entrepreneurship. It's not just a creative outlet, it's an analytical outlet. You're blending the creativity with the analysis of it. To
Right.
see you're making something you like, will other people like it too? If they do, awesome, let's make more of it. If they don't, well, what don't they like, and how can I change that?
Right. And it's more like the need too. Like for me, I specialize in customized baby gifts. So like a teether with a name on it, baby's name on it. So a lot of things are like even gifts for a newborn. People just want it with a name on it. It's personalized. So it's more like they want it, they need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Mhm.
what are you working on right now that's exciting to you?
I have a summer collection coming out in a few weeks. I always try to my main line is baby products, and then I have silicone dinnerware. So I always try to find what's I have four kids, so I kind of use them as my models. They try out different products. I see what they like, what actually is practical and functional for my kitchen, and just seeing like what needs are need to be met. So I've been doing that for a while, but I also find my old customers like to see new stuff. I need to keep having new stuff in my shop and new things that when the kids get older, what else can they grow and have a need for? So I do have some new mom accessories coming out. I kind of want to keep it a secret, but for summer, I designed the kettlebell teether. Actually, I have it right here. So
No tea
the,
there.
this
That's
was I designed this a few years ago because there's no fitness teethers on the market.
yeah,
So after doing this for so many years, I finally designed one that I thought had all the benefits and everything I wanted in a teether into a kettlebell. I also have a background in CrossFit. I used to own CrossFit gyms in Mexico. So I found like the only thing they had out there was like Fisher Price, a few like barbells or stuff from Fisher Price, but no actual teethers.
right.
So, and then this grew as like my original one. And then I developed more colors, came out. So now I have five of these colors. And a new item that is going to be released in my summer collection is little mini kettlebells that I'm collaborating with gyms to even do keychains or like personal accessories with the kettlebell teether, pacifier clips with the little kettlebell beads. So that's one little thing I'm releasing, but I'm always coming out with new accessories, even silicone beach buckets, mom bags, mom tote bags are coming out. So
Yeah.
just new things, trying, and it's trial and error to see what people like and what sells too.
Yeah. And the way you get your ideas of what to make is just as your as I guess no longer babies, as your kids are growing up, like what do you need to be, for them? And then is that kind of how you innovate, or are there other ways as well?
Well, I learn the most from doing in-person markets because I can actually talk to people in real life, and that's what I love. Um, I have three pretty much streams where I do my business: online, in-person markets, and retail stores.
Yeah.
But my favorite is just the personal connection and popping up. Of course, it's the most work, but
Right.
I learn the most just talking to customers, seeing what people are looking for, what people need, what people want, what people like go for. And like I said, even something simple as like I have five colors of plates of dinnerware. What I like is not necessarily what someone else likes.
Yeah.
So when I do markets where you're drawn to totally different people of backgrounds, for example, the Toronto Baby Show, I underestimated the color yellow. I wouldn't personally like yellow, but that just sold out because I mean it makes sense, gender neutral. But I wouldn't have known this if I didn't do in-person markets and talk to people and really, it's like a whole process. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you get the richest information from face-to-face interaction. Like,
exactly.
even me as a personal trainer, I don't do traditional personal trainer marketing like referrals. I mean, I accept referrals, of course, but I don't rely on them exclusively or social media. Like my big four marketing strategies are in no particular order: public speaking, email marketing, door-to-door sales, and writing books. Um,
Okay.
and just like you, I get my richest information from my face-to-face stuff. My public speaking, when I speak in a boardroom or a conference room, and the audience members come up to me, I get the richest information there. Door to door, you don't get any rich information than talking to somebody one-on-one with unlimited time. Uh,
Right.
I totally get where you're coming from.
That
Uh,
makes sense.
so you mentioned your three big sources of new business are online, in person, and retail. Is it like split equally between those three, or is there one that brings more business than the others?
For me, it's the markets has been actually my most successful. That's probably where I put my most energy and
Yeah.
time doing. Because I'm just one person. Probably if I had more people helping me, it would be a different story. But I actually enjoy the most doing markets. So that's where It's the personal interaction, it's the personal connection. I mean, you can buy baby gifts on Amazon, you can go to Walmart, you can buy
Yep.
anywhere, but the whole personal part of it and supporting small business is the part that brings me the most joy when people are actually happy to buy from me
Yes.
and enjoy my products.
Yeah. You're not a giant faceless organization. You're a real person in the city that they
Exactly.
live in or close to the one they live in. So yeah, absolutely. I get where you're coming from. Um, And the cool thing to me about entrepreneurship is that there are a million different ways to do it. Me, my personality, I'm not a social media person. Like if I have to sit there
Sure.
with Canva and design graphics, I'm out. But you tell me to go outside, get some fresh air, and knock on doors, I'm like, I'm in, you know?
Really? Okay.
There's no, I mean, social media, there's algorithm changes. You're not in control of everything, right? On social media, the social media overlords decide how far your thing your message your ad reaches. In person, it's the same as it's been for a thousand years. You knock on the door and you start talking. Um, so to me, it gives stability, but also it's highly profitable. So it fits your personality. I also volunteer with the Markham Small Business Center as a small business mentor, and I get to mentor a bunch of different businesses from e-commerce to also in person to landscaping, tennis lessons, taekwondo classes, stuff like that.
Oh,
It's
wow.
interesting to me to hear what other entrepreneurs are doing for marketing for their businesses, and it's so diverse. From some are very very good at social media for some businesses,
Mhm.
others I had a videographer as a mentee about 3 or so years ago, and I asked him, me and my co-mentor asked him, "What do you do for marketing, and what do you need help with?" He says, "I need help with social media." And we asked him, "Okay, and what are you currently doing?" He says, I just walk to businesses in person without invitation and just pitch my services." And so we asked him, how many clients are you getting from social media right now? He says zero. And we asked him, how many clients are you getting right now from walk-ins? He says, if I walk into 10 businesses, 6 out of 10 will agree to work with me.
Hmm.
So we asked him, and if this is working so well, why do you want to do social media?
Right.
Right? He says leverage. He says it doesn't take any longer to post for 1,000 followers than 1,000,000 followers. We said that's true. However, if you're getting zero clients out of 1,000 followers, 0 times 1,000 is still zero. Uh,
Right.
so you can go about it one of two ways. Either you love videography more than you love money, in which case you keep doing the videography and you hire somebody to do walk-ins for you. Or two, you like the business side of things, you like money more than you like videography, you hire somebody to do the videography and you do the walk-ins. Because if you're closing 6 out of 10, that should be your bread and butter. Not to say you shouldn't experiment with other things, but that's your bread and butter.
That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Same for
Yeah.
me. I was just starting out. I only had one strategy that worked. It's public speaking. And now I have four, but at that time I had one. So I spent the majority of my time on public speaking while working on the other stuff. Um, Once something else clicked, then I would split my time between public speaking and the other thing that's profitable, while always testing things that have the potential to be profitable. But then it's always an experiment. Is it profitable, or does it just have potential, but it's not actually profitable? When the experiment ends, I'll know if my hypothesis was correct or not. If it was correct and it's profitable, awesome. I add it to my marketing mix. If it wasn't correct, then I dump it or I iterate. Um, and that to me is one of the most interesting things about entrepreneurship. You can do it in a way that's enjoyable and fun for you.
Right.
Yeah,
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 and a lot of it's just trial and error. Like sometimes, like for me, I just try to show up at a market with no expectations, and sometimes, yeah, they're a flop, or you're just like, this is a total waste of my time, or like no one comes out, or this was too expensive for what it was worth. But sometimes just that one customer that you make and that one connection can be the game changer because
yeah,
they buy one big baby gift and then they give it to that person. That person then follows you and then they need a baby gift for someone else. And in my market, everyone is always having babies.
yep,
So it's like domino effect.
yeah,
And
exactly.
I finally got smart enough to reach out to not just stay in my Markham Durham bubble, but to go further out to do markets that are further away from Markham and just get new followers, new clientele,
Yeah,
new
yeah, yeah.
customers.
If it's profitable, just keep traveling.
Yeah.
What obstacles have you encountered in your time as an entrepreneur?
Obstacles. Probably a main thing for me, also being a mom with four young children, is just finding the balance of work life and home life.
Yeah,
I do work from home currently, so it's also putting the proper boundaries of when to shut off. And I struggled with that for a while because I work at home and a lot of people know I work from home.
Mhm.
They can message me at 9 p.m. and say, hey, do you have a dinosaur teether in stock? And I have this tendency that I have to answer them right away,
Yeah.
or, so setting boundaries of, okay, what's work life and home life. That's one obstacle I deal with. Another would be finding right retail stores. I've experimented with this for like kind of roller coasters of being in lots of retail stores. And there's been a couple of retail stores that I've got screwed by. Ones that just went bankrupt and really didn't pay their vendors the money they're owed. So like negative experiences with them. So it makes you now, it's harder to trust of,
Yeah.
trying to go to new stores. But the ones I am currently are wonderful. But even experimenting with consignment, rent, like location, malls versus little, plazas or stores or, warehouses. So it's all, and it's nothing's ever consistent. It's always changing and up and down. And
Yeah.
but yeah, it's really just trusting kind of retail stores too has been big for me.
Yeah. When I mean, you know how I said I always run marketing experiments.
Hmm.
Any given time, running 3 to 5 experiments, I experienced a success 1 out of 25 times, which means that's a 90% failure rate. It's a very, very high failure rate. Actually, sorry, more than that. It's a 97.5% failure rate. Um, and despite that, the successes help pay for the failures. Whenever I go into a new experiment, I'm always asking myself, what's the worst that could happen? And B, what's the most amount of money that I'm comfortable losing on this? Assume this is a failed experiment. What's the most I'm comfortable losing on this? I assume most of I've kind of developed a bit of a skepticism to cynicism as an entrepreneur. I'm way more skeptical slash cynical now than I was at the beginning. So I always assume whatever strategy I'm working with is probably not going to work, even though, so I expect it to not work, but I hope it will work. And if I hire somebody to help me with a strategy, I assume they're going to screw me over because that has happened before. And then I always ask myself, am I okay with that?
Right.
The answer is yes, let's run it. If the answer is no, let's not run it.
It's like if they do screw me over, am I going to trust myself enough that I'll be okay dealing with it?
Yes, exactly. Like how bad will I feel if they screw me over? Because if I expect to begin with, I'm like, well, that's what I expected.
Hmm.
Um, Not to say I don't work with nice people, but very often I have to distinguish between nice and competent. Just because they're nice doesn't mean they're good at what they say they're going to do.
Right.
So I always have to ask myself, am I okay with either getting screwed or completely losing my money on this investment? Uh,
Right.
and that's why I decide run it or don't run it. So I totally get your challenges. We're in the same boat here.
And sometimes you just gotta learn the hard way. That's kind of my personality. I always learn things the hard way.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I call it a real life MBA. You spend some money on it, a lot of money on an MBA, and by the way, a lot of MBA grads say it wasn't worth it. The knowledge wasn't worth it, but the connections they made, the network is worth it.
yeah.
Um, it's kind of like that here. Like you invest money, well, such as spend, such as waste, into potentially bad marketing strategies. Some of them, most of them, don't work. Some of them will work fantastically.
Hmm.
The successes that help pay for the failures, and then bring you more successes.
Right.
Yeah,
That's how I look at it. I'm very positive, so I gotta turn the negative into something, a life experience that you can't put a price on.
yeah, yeah. They call it the positive power of negative preparation.
There you go.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like.
Now, I was wondering how to ask this question. What do you do in your free time? Now, you're a mom of four. You don't have a lot of free time, but in the
Yes.
free time you have, what do you do?
Well, actually, I try to prioritize fitness, which is it's important to me, even mentally, just to have that break. So I work out at F45 in Markville, so that's kind of been my like therapy sessions.
Yeah,
That the 45 minutes just for me to have a good workout in. So I really try to prioritize that, even if it means like I have my youngest just turned 3,
yeah.
so I'll even bring him with me, and he'll sit there in the stroller with his snacks, and I got to do what I got to do. But this is time for mommy. So yeah, I like to do that. Summer I play
It makes
baseball.
a great role model for your 3-year-old and all your kids.
Oh yeah, they they're good. They're good like that.
Excellent.
Yeah, I like to play baseball this summer. It's gonna start up soon. Slow pitch. Pretty much, yeah. Those are main things. Hang out with friends when that's ever possible.
Yeah. When you hang out with friends, what do you do?
Well, it used to be going to karaoke, going to a bar, patio season, or just watching like a hockey game, having a glass of wine, catch up.
Yeah, my wife is Filipino. In my in-laws' house, they love karaoke.
Oh yeah, I can
The
imagine.
stereotypes are true.
Yes.
And I mean, you have apparently a big fitness background. You said you were a CrossFit owner in Mexico, and right now you do have 45. How'd you get into fitness in the first place?
Oh, I think just my whole life I've always been like pretty into sports. I played baseball my whole life. Always was on interested in volleyball, soccer, field hockey, like the whole bit, even in high school. And in Mexico, it was just a great opportunity to open a business.
Yeah,
And CrossFit was just kind of the new fad. And that was in like 2011, 2012.
yeah,
And yeah, so that was just, it was easier to open a business in Mexico, it felt like. And I
yeah,
was living there and teaching too on the side. And then I totally faded out with the teaching and went full into the business. And yeah, that was kind of the background there. And
yeah,
um, now it's just at 45, just more convenient. I'm in Canada now. Just something different, kind of the style that's like in and out. I like intense workouts,
yeah,
so this works for me. The owners are really nice, and the community. I like working out in a class, a group setting. I need people to motivate me. I can't just stay home and do it on my own. I just can't. I need someone to push me.
yeah.
So
There's
get me out of my house.
yeah, there's no community like CrossFit. But yeah, if you like group stuff at 45, Orange Theory, those kinds of things are perfect for you.
Right. I
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Have you found differences in how people interact with entrepreneurs between Canada, Mexico, other places?
Um, That's an interesting question. It's like a different lifestyle in Mexico. Obviously, there's language barrier. People are more friends, it seems like.
Yeah,
Everyone's friends. So
yeah,
it's actually, in that sense, it's harder to go in business because you just kind of, someone like me that's very trusting, it could be like, yeah, sure, I'll pay you tomorrow. And you just take their word for it.
yeah,
It doesn't work here in Canada. Um, but yeah, it's just a different culture, different rules. But
yeah.
yeah, it's hard to really compare.
Yeah, for me, I found differences between I haven't done much business, well, any business in Mexico, but I have done it in the U.S. Because my personal training company, yes, we're based in Markham, um, but we have a lot of online clients, many of them in the U.S., UK, Ireland, Australia, etc. Predominantly English-speaking countries, and the approach to entrepreneurship is so different between Canada versus the US. For example, one
Hmm.
experiment that I ran is one of my best referral sources is supplement stores. So I approached like local supplement stores in Markham and outside of Markham, saying let's work out a partnership. And it was very, very difficult to get any responses. I emailed 100 and I got, I think, 3 or 4 responses, and all 3 or 4 were no. But
Really?
yeah, I emailed the same thing, same email exactly, but to health food stores in Manhattan and Pennsylvania, something like 6 or 7 responses. Of those 6 or 7, 3 or 4 were yeses. Um,
Oh,
like the ratios are just so different. They it seems like they value and appreciate entrepreneurs and they cheer them on way more over there versus here. I can't speak for UK or Ireland. We have clients from there, but I haven't tried to do business with them. Um,
okay.
but at least in the US, it's like I feel like entrepreneurship is easier than it is here.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah,
about. Yeah,
yeah. Like if you put it easier, it's definitely easier in Mexico. Easier to start a business, easier
yeah,
to just yeah, have the support. I don't know. Just seems it's a different dynamic.
yeah. It was interesting to see other perspectives. Yeah.
Mhm.
And since this is, after all, a Best of Markham podcast, what's your favorite business in Markham besides your own?
Ooh. It's hard to have favorites since I know lots of small businesses that are from soaps to bakers to photographers, but um I mean a business that I guess I'm a regular at would be Boston Pizza in Markham. I feel like I mean I used to work there over 20 years ago, so that's probably why I feel like it's my second home.
The one
Um,
and Major Mac.
no, Markham and 14th.
Okay, okay, yeah, I know that one
Yeah,
too.
so that's probably a restaurant. F45. The owners are great. I feel like that's my second home now,
Yeah,
and just a great community to be a part of. And yeah, it's hard to choose favorites because I have many.
Boy, do I know. I mean, I've like my wife and I, we love going to restaurants. We're huge foodies. So, like, ask me to pick one restaurant. I'm like, I can't. I can take
Yeah.
50.
I know. It's hard to even get out there and try new restaurants. So I usually just stick to the same thing I know. Um, you get the kids' card, so my kids eat free at Boston Pizza. I'm well taken care of. They always have sports on, so it's kind of our go-to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can't go wrong with Boston Pizza. They got everything.
Yeah.
Awesome. And lastly, how can our viewers and listeners get in touch with you?
You can give me a follow on Instagram. That's probably where I'm the most active on there, at mandy.muggins. Or you can check out my website at mandymugginz.com. Or you can visit me in person markets. This summer, I'll be popping up at Markham Main Street, Stouffville Strawberry Festival. I'm often at Markham Stouffville Hospital. I was actually there yesterday, just doing different pop ups for different events. And I live local, so you can always even swing by. And if you don't want to get something shipped, you can pick it up right from my doorstep.
Yeah, yeah. It'll probably actually be faster to go from their home to yours than to get it shipped.
Exactly.
Awesome. And all these details are going to be in the show notes.
Okay.
Amanda, thank you so much for the interview. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure.